Once upon a time, Ursula's Costumes provided clothing for TV and film. Over the years, Ursula expanded her business and began selling Halloween and party costumes to the public. Then the pandemic happened, and Ursula, faced with the new economy and constantly changing technology, is now considering whether to close her doors after 30 years of doing business in Santa Monica. Like, when did you start over at the
Oh,
Culver City Studios? And
1976. The studio, we were about 7 years, something like that. Because my customers that bought all the things, what we had, and in those days I didn't have that much to sell, but they all came from Santa Monica. When you gonna come more closer to us, you know? I finally had to move, first of all. When Ted Turner bought the studio, I lost my space. So we moved across on Venice Boulevard.
when did you move to Santa Monica?
30 years ago, 94. I have a lot of pictures on the wall from the stars, what I met and all those. I was in the studio in Culver City.
When you met Bruce?
Yeah, he had a break or something, and he was driving one of those little motorcycles, those real little ones. He was driving around in the studio.
Was he a pretty...
Bruce Willis, he's a nice guy. I don't think he never did anything wrong, you know. I worked on Cagney Lacey, which they're filmed in Pasadena. So sometimes actually every week, I had to go at 5 o'clock in the morning for fittings and things, you know. I worked with John Connery. I was already here. He was down in Colorado in the studios, getting ready for a film in Mexico. So we made a lot of stuff for that show.
For the Sean Connery show?
It's just because they're filming in Mexico, there had to be always fresh costumes, so everything we had to do was like in 10.
How long would it take to make something like that?
Well, first of all, you have to make a pattern and all that stuff, and you know, have to have the measurements from the people, but it a little counts with the little stuff, so it's at least a week or more, it depends. Sometimes you cannot sit on one piece, you have to work with more things.
Mm-hmm.
So one person does this, one does another one. I guess people don't do those parties anymore. There's another one with the crown and the earth. And of course, some of my best ones I already sold.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I could say names, but I don't know if I should. Yeah. All right. Kate Beckinsale bought most of it.
Oh, she did?
She got me quite a few things, the best of everything, you know.
What do you think is the main cause for the slowdown in your business?
Well, first of all, the pandemic, and we could not survive that. I should have closed when everybody else did, but what we're gonna do with all this stuff, because everything we have here is all custom made.
Wow, okay.
Well, I cannot sell it for $10 or so. This is the good stuff.
And so the pandemic...
Yeah, they really...
was really hard.
On us, yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't rent a mask, not a mask, a wig anymore and all those kind of things. People wouldn't touch it, right?
Right. Maybe you should sell online.
Well, we did try that, and then somebody sued us because in the pandemic, you know, we said we have to sell it online, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But apparently something wasn't right or our computer didn't do it for the handicap, or we don't really know.
Oh.
Then they sued us.
Oh.
We still have, it's in November or something of this year, we have to go to court, but I hope we're not here anymore by that time. I didn't know all the rules and regulations in Santa Monica, which is much harder than in LA.
How so?
It's just everything what involved with the business, kind of. They have too many regulations. It's probably good, but
sometimes it's difficult to deal with the Republic of Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Right. So, when do you think you're going to have to shut down?
Well, my landlord is very good, so as long as I pay some rent, I can stay. I have to, because we need to sell all this stuff.
Yeah. Are you going to do any kind of big clearance sale or anything like that?
Well, we do have it. At the window, nobody's here. You see, one person, don't know if she bought something.
Right.
It's just no people coming here.
Yeah.
And I think if I was in Los Angeles, would have been a different story.
Right, because you had, you at once upon a time, you had a nice clientele based here in Santa Monica.
Well, I still have all those people. They call me every day. Why are you leaving? Why are you not coming and buying something?
Right. And how has technology changed your business?
That's the other thing. Yeah. We can't keep up with the new stuff, but, what the teenagers want and all that stuff. It's one of those things. The future is going to be totally different.
Well, for, younger people who are just starting, wardrobe stylists and those kind of people, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, you cannot even talk to them. They come in on their phone and they walk out on the phone. You cannot talk to them. If you say, can I help you with something? They don't say hi. It's a totally different generation. You cannot go through to them.
Yeah.
If they would say, oh, can I have something like this or that? And then we know what they want, right? No way, they don't talk. And everybody always asks me, what you gonna do when you retire? They all think I'm 60 years old. I said, I paint, I make jewelry. I'm not gonna be bored at all. I painted this in 1965.
Oh, wow. So it's an original you.
Well, it's a copy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I painted it in oil. So this is all beautiful stuff. This was in a movie too. And that's my old Queen of Scotland. Bachelor's Ball always got the best stuff every year. So, but, it's so many things. And look at the headpieces. We made all this stuff fitting to the costumes. Little ones too. All we need is customers.
Payments of $60 after initial payment.